Let me ask you the question, what is a mindset? You don't have an answer? This is totally fine. Let me tell you, a mindset is a foundational psychological framework about beliefs. Beliefs about yourself, about your intelligence and your capabilities. Then we can differentiate between two forms. We have the fixed mindset. Fixed mindset means your capabilities, your talents, your intelligence, it's fixed. You cannot change it. You're born with it, so stick with it. And your growth mindset would be that your talents are born natural, but you can influence them. You can better them, you can lose them if you would want to, I guess. And then about your intelligence and your capabilities, that you can increase them however you like. Part of the fixed mindset is also that when you are being challenged, that you cannot overcome this challenge. But with growth mindset, you can easily overcome any challenge if you just set your mind. So how does it work psychologically? The whole system is based on brain plasticity, on neurogenesis, because our brain grows and then it has the capability to change, to restructure synapses, to emphasize certain parts of growth that you are, for example, practicing more. If you're practicing more piano instead of the flute, then you will become better at piano because your brain grows this part more. And it's basically the brain's response to learning and change. The growth mindset stimulates the dopaminergic ways. It releases dopamines because when we do something that is different from what we normally do, where we challenge ourselves and we try to keep track of it, understand it, then we have dopamine release. And now I want to tell you how to establish a growth mindset, how to establish generally, first of all, a mindset. And then we need to, of course, first of all, assess. We need to start with the baseline. Where are we currently? Do we have a growth mindset, a strong growth mindset, a not so strong growth mindset, or do we have a fixed mindset? How is it? Where do we stand currently? And then I want to recommend you some tests, like for example, the Psychology Today growth mindset test. Basically just a 20-item quiz, 5 minutes, easily done. Then you have this first test done and you see basically your trajectory where you're currently at. And I always recommend doing more than just one test, because one test could be wrong and then you just do like 2 more. And I'm going to tell you now those 2. For example, the IDR Labs growth versus fixed mindset test, 30 question test, also 5 minutes, easily done. And I took them as well. I'm going to show you my results, that you see that I actually took them, and you might just need a minute for this. Easy. Then you can also do the growth mindset scale by Mindset Works. All of these tests are free. And when you take those tests, somewhere note your results and then just do it like bi-weekly to see where you are at. And then now that you know, if you already have a growth mindset, perfect. I guess you can now skip the video, leave a like, and then move on with your life. But if you have a fixed mindset, we can change this. And there's point 2. But if you have a growth mindset, always stick to the video as well. Point number 2 is education. We need to be aware that our brain can change. And even if you have a growth mindset, sometimes we might forget it. So we need to be aware that our brain can change. And with learning, we are already changing our brain. Like in a week, learn for 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm now having here some free resources about brain plasticity and brain change. So it's also in the description. It's the Mindset Kit by Mindset Works, Dr. Huberman's growth mindset episode, and some TED Talks on growth mindset. I want to give you now the most essential core methods in order to change your mindset. If you want to have a mindset like, for example, David Goggins, then you need to put in the effort and the work of David Goggins. From just watching videos, from just doing nothing, there won't be any change. So the first thing is expose yourself to challenges, exactly like Goggins did. Try just one thing in a week where you have this discomfort. For me personally, like always going back to research, doing videos can be sometimes a discomfortable thing, because maybe I want to don't do it, maybe I need to do something else, but I'm still doing it, even though I wouldn't say it's the most discomfortable thing of it all, but it's just an example. What you could do is, for example, go out for a run, do sports, talk to new people, something that you really dislike. And then write it down. How did you feel? Try to reflect on the whole thing. Second thing, set goals for yourself. If we set goals to ourselves, then we tell our brain there's something that we can achieve, there's something that we can change in our life, and we are not fixed. Peterson tells us also that we should set goals to ourselves in order to achieve brain change and brain plasticity. And there you can set yourself the goal, for example, to learn once a week. Friedrich Nietzsche talks about overcoming oneself. The will to power. It means to harness our self-conflicts, our own inner self-problems in order to overcome ourselves, in order to become a better person. And what you can do is journaling. Note your process and your progress. Note your inner problems, harness them to become the person you want to be. And it's really necessary that we reflect, and writing things down is reflection purely. And when you write down, please sometimes have a tap on your shoulder and praise yourself for the achievements you made, for the change you made. Like when you go back to David Goggins, he has this jar of cookies in his mental space where he's always sometimes picking out the cookies, and those cookies are his past achievements, like the major runs he did, and so on. And phase 4, test and iteration. Redo the tests after you've done the core methods for like 2-3 weeks. See where you're at now. If you had a fixed mindset, that you have a growth mindset. If you have a not so strong growth mindset, maybe you have a better growth mindset. And never ever stop. And if you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I hope you are going to change your mindset. Follow my Patreon, because they will learn a lot more about mindset as well. And then we're going to see each other in the next video. Hopefully, then you have already a better mindset than today.